Howdy, howdy. Welcome to another vintage Cube Draft. If you're here for Cube content, you've come to the right place. Right off the bat, pack one, pick one. We got ourselves a Mana Vault. Not technically power, but anytime you get some acceleration in the vintage cube, you want to just snap it up. I also love Dismember in this pack, but we're gonna take the Mana Vault. It lets us just stay open, and I'm really excited to start on that pick. All right, pack two, what do we got here? We have a Jailer, which is pretty strong. Starting off with a Mana Vault, again, we can go kind of any direction. I think I want to take the Jailer here. Maybe we could do a big red thing and take Inferno Titan, but white is usually underdrafted in the vintage cube, and Palace Jailer is quite strong. It's not the strongest card. You can play that card incorrectly. I've done so myself, but it is a very effective card. Here in pack three, after picking up a Palace Jailer, pick two, I'm really looking at the fixing in the Flooded Strand. You could stay open and pick Chalice. There's a Crucible of Worlds if we want to be really degenerate, but I think taking Flooded Strand here is a pretty safe pick. Ooh, here's a Remand. After picking up Flooded Strand with a Palace Jailer, Remand is exactly where I want to be. A lot of other great cards in that pack, but I love Remand. It replaces itself. It can really be a great tempo place. We'll just windmill slam that. Here in pack five, or pick five, excuse me, there's a Fury. It's definitely the strongest card here. We are not locked into white-blue, even though we do have a Flooded Strand, so we'll just take the Fury here and stay a little open, picking some of the strongest cards in the cube. All right, what do we got here? There's an Oust, which goes along pretty nicely with our Palace Jailer. I don't think we're on green, and Elish Norn is not what we're looking for, so we'll take the Oust there. Ooh, and here's a decision between Sacred Foundry, Ragavan Triome, and Lightning Bolt. I don't know if we're doing a three-color thing. We do already have a Flooded Strand, which can pick up the Triome. Sacred Foundry is also very safe to kind of go white-red, and the Lightning Bolt, obviously just a great interactive card. If we pick up this land here, it's kind of hedged. There's also a Spell Seeker, which can find things like Remand, but I'm going to pick up the Triome, hedge a little bit on fixing. Not sure if we're going to go white-blue, white-red, or white-blue and red, and the Triumph can help fix any of those combinations. There's a Seachrome Coast, and there's also a Daze. Daze also very strong. Love the card. Sorry to pass the Seachrome Coast after picking up white and blue cards, but Daze get in the deck. There's a Cathar Commando, kind of the only card in our colors. There's also a Grim Lavamancer, but we'll take the Commando. It's a pretty great utility spell. There's Archangel Avacyn. There's also a Showdown of the Scalds. If you can cast Showdown, especially off of something like a Mana Vault, it just offers some great card advantage, so we'll pick that up. There's a Knight of Autumn Wheeling. We'll take Treasure Cruise here, since we could still be in blue. Here, the pick's probably between, I don't know, Extraction Specialist, Expansion Explosion, or even the Pyromancer. We'll throw Expansion Explosion in there, because I'm not sure we're red right now. Rex Sage, Lotus Bloom, neither of these making the deck probably, and then a Land Tax, which is a fine sideboard card. All right, I think we're white-blue. There we are, pack two, pick one, ding ding, Black Lotus. Wow, all right, now we got something going on here. So still trying to figure out for white-blue, white-red. I think we're definitely white, though. There's a Skyclave, and that definitely pushes us into white. Here's a Mana Tithe, a Goldspan Dragon even. How much are we in red? Brainstorm, Thieving Skydiver. Brainstorm, probably pretty good with our fetch land. I'll just take the Tithe. I know we're in white for sure. And then again, the question is, are we white-blue or white-red or all three colors? Gonna let the draft help us figure this one out. Okay, Sun Titan after picking up a Black Lotus is a slam here. That is a 2-card combo. I think, yeah. We don't want Gideon Blackblade. We want Sun Titan here, for sure. Get in the deck, Sun Titan. Ooh, there's a Brazen Borrower. There's also a Wandering Emperor, Smuggler's Copter, Volcanic Island. This pack has got it all. Since we already have the fixing in Ragavan Triumph, let's pick up the Wandering Emperor. Again, knowing we're going to play white, going to kind of lean towards white picks when we can, and we'll see what blue or red cards keep coming around the table. Also leaning towards, 4 drops like the Wandering Emperor, because we do have cards like Mana Vault and Black Lotus, which can be very strong turn 1 plays. Here I'm looking at probably the Urza Saga. After having a Mana Vault and a Black Lotus, Urza Saga can go fetch that out on its 3rd chapter, and it's just a great threat on its own. There's an Elspeth and a Phantasmal Image. I think we can take the Elspeth here. Again, 4 drops, not always the correct pick, but when you have a Mana Vault and a Black Lotus, 4 drops are okay. We'll take a Porcelain Legionnaire here. Let's throw a Batterskull in the sideboard. Still don't know, if we're splashing this Fury or if we're splashing, something like Treasure Cruise. Just don't know yet. Trying to stay open. There's a Lodestone Golem. That plays really nicely with cards like Mana Vault, so we'll throw that in for sure. There's that Goldspan Dragon coming around and also a Thieving Skydiver. I think Goldspan's a stronger card. Thieving Skydiver is very situational. I'm not excited about the 2 red mana pips though in Goldspan Dragon. But seeing it that late could be kind of a sign. There's a Lightning Helix as well. So a couple more red cards. Hazoret, not as excited to pick that one up. We'll take it for now. There's a Parallax Wave here. Wow, so we got a lot of great wheels at the end of pack 2. Because those last, 4 or 5 picks were quite good for the end of a pack. All right, pack 3. I think there's a Dak. Dak Faden is super strong. But I think the most sensible pick here, to be honest, is Prismatic Vista. Eat those vegetables, get this mana base right. I know Dak's not going to wheel, but maybe something like the Murktide Regent wheels or, the Stoneforge Mystic maybe if we get some equipment. There's a Force Negation and a Tundra and a Tinker and a Spirebluff Canal. Sometimes I wish you could just kind of like double Masters draft this thing and take multiple cards out of the pack. We'll take the Tundra. Now we can play all 3 colors if we want to. Our fixing is good enough now, I think, with a fetch, a Prismatic Vista, and 2 dual land tri-lands. And so we can effectively splash blue or red. Wow. Lelia, Esper Sentinel, Urza. Yeah, we are in the right colors for sure, but we're going to snap up that Lelia. Now, after snapping up a Lelia, I'm more interested in this Plateau than I am the Tundra. I'm not a huge fan of Rabblemaster. I just don't think it does as much work as it could. It definitely does not do as much work as a Lelia. The haste on Lelia really matters. And I think now that we have this mana sorted out, we can be a lot more selective in the cards we pick for the rest of this pack 3. Thraben, Jite, Walking Ballista. Let's just take the Jite. Jite can end games on its own. We only have 10 creatures, but that is about enough. And maybe that Stoneforge Mystic wheels back around from this pack. Jite is one of those cards that can just take over the game against the right decks. What do we got here? P and Kieran, Spectral. So we're more white than red. So actually I am looking more at the Spectral Procession, but it's probably just a sideboard card. Balance, Counterspell, Vanguard. Not looking at the Wheel of Fortune. I want to take the Vanguard here. After picking up a Jite, Vanguard's a great 2 mana value creature. And now we have our creatures. I want to get more creatures. Eidolon, Light Up the Stage. Maybe we want Light Up the Stage. Light Up the Stage does offer some card filtering here. And now that we've taken these red cards, maybe we're just not in blue. Maybe we're a Boros deck. So moving the blue cards to the sideboard for now, we can see what this looks like. All right, there's a Steamkin and a Lotus Petal. I think I just want to take the Steamkin, even though I don't think Steamkin's the strongest. It is a creature, it is red, so we can put it in there. It does carry a Jite just as well as anything else. Can you wield a Jite? Get in the deck. Worst case, right? Like I can pitch Steamkin to Fury, right, and evoke Fury that way. So it's got some value. There's an Eidolon. I really like Eidolon. Overperforms every time you play it, I think. So we'll Windmill Slam Eidolon there. Welder, nope. Stowaway, nope. Nothing for us here in this pack, unfortunately. We'll put the Indicate in the sideboard. Usher of the Fallen is a great wheel for our deck. There's a Yorion and a Retrofitter. I don't think we're playing any of these cards. Forge Master and a Crypt Breaker for 15th pick. All right, here's how I built it. Boros deck for the win. Sun Titan Black Lotus combo sitting in there and supported with Lelia, Eidolon, and Goldspan Dragon. Let's take it into the league, into match 1. We're in match 1 on the play. I think we could keep this hand. Though when we have Black Lotus, I kind of want to be more aggressive with my mulligans. So we'll send that one to the cat, and we'll keep this one here with Urza's Saga and Porcelain Legionnaire. A red mana would be nice for Light Up the Stage. But since we're on the play, we'll lead out on Plains, and then we'll plan to get the Saga down next turn and play Legionnaire. Opponent's on Island into top. We draw Plains for turn. Probably could have gotten Saga down there. So that was probably a punt. So because now Saga is a turn slower. Okay, here is Black Lotus off the top. That is huge. So let's get in there with the Legionnaires so we can use cast Light Up the Stage for its spectacle cost. And we'll just pop this Lotus for red now. We'll hold back the land for now in case we draw a land off the Light Up the Stage. So we'll crack Lotus for red and play Light Up the Stage for spectacle cost. We have Cathar Commando and Adanto Vanguard. We can play both of these. So we will get the Saga down now. So let's cast the Vanguard first. All right, counterspell from the opponent. That's fine. We will get the Cathar Commando down though. And now we got 6 power on the battlefield. Opponent spins top. And then draws with top. Plays a mountain into Izzet Signet. Okay. I'm not going to blow that up quite yet. We draw a mountain. And I kind of just want to activate Urza Saga here. So let's play the mountain and then just get in there for 6. Because our construct tokens will be pretty big here since we have a Porcelain Legionnaire already on the battlefield. So we got our opponent on a 2-turn clock right now. And the plan is to create a construct token at the end of their turn. Alright, opponent plays top. And a Sacred Foundry tapped. We'll create a construct. And we already have a stop on our upkeep to make another construct here. And we'll just do it again. And now Saga will activate, and we'll go probably get our Mana Vault. Yep. So now our constructs are 4/4s, which is really great. And with Mana Vault and another Plains in hand, we can actually get this Parallax Wave down as well. And that should seal the deal. I don't know what our opponent could do to get out of this. I'm thinking about what our clock is. So they're on a 2-turn clock right now. We can get in there for 6 and put them to 5, or we can blow up their Signet with the Cathar Commando, get in with the Legionnaire, put them to 8, and they're still dead next turn. So this just restricts our opponent's mana as much as possible while not changing the clock. They're still on a 2-turn clock. So that's why we took that play, and it was the most mana efficient because we had that spare colorless floating. All right, and our opponent just concedes. That worked out pretty well. So we're in game 2 now on the draw. I made some pretty aggressive sideboard decisions where I brought in all of our blue cards we drafted, like Treasure Cruise and Daze and Remand, and brought in our blue fixing and took out our red top end. I did this because we're on the draw, and that first hand's got to go to the cat. This second hand also too slow. We're going to feed mulligan twice here, double mulligan. Third hand, we're going to have to keep. We have some plays here. We'll put Parallax Wave and I guess Jailer back and see if we can win off the back of this Mana Tithe and Adeline. Anyways, I made those sideboard decisions because I felt like on the draw, being a little bit more reactive may be a little bit better. Don't know. Maybe we could have just stayed on the Boros aggression game plan. I mean, we're still aggressive, but just change it up a little bit. All right, opponent leads out on Thicket. They know what's up since they Gitaxian probed us, so they know about the Tithe. They should play around it the rest of the game. We drew a Helix, which was nice. And since our opponent knows about the Tithe, we'll just get this Legionnaire down. Opponent plays Mountain. And since we're tapped out, they take this opportunity to get Edric down. What opponent doesn't know is that we got Lightning Helix in hand. So we can Helix this Edric and get in there as well as holding up Mana Tithe. Even if your opponent knows about Mana Tithe, it's still going to tax them because they still have to play around it. Island into, looks like pass. They're likely playing around something, playing around our Mana Tithe there. So we draw Cathar Commando, which we can just flash in end of our opponent's turn. So we'll just get in there again with the Legionnaire and pass it back. Again, opponent doesn't do anything. So we've basically time walked our opponent twice with this Mana Tithe, kind of. So we'll just flash in the Cathar Commando there. We draw Plains, which is nice. This allows us to cast Adeline while still holding up Mana Tithe. And now we can get in there for 7 because Adeline will trigger. All right, opponent does have a play this time, and it's to flash in a Restoration Angel. All right, so that will eat one of our creatures. Looks like the opponent decides to block the Cathar Commando and take 4. Another island from the opponent into Glen Alendra, Well, dang, that turns our Elspeth off, likely. Treasure Cruise not the greatest draw with no blue mana. Maybe signing these blue cards was not a good idea. So, I mean, Adeline could attack, and they could double block, and still have Glenn up with Persist. So I guess we'll play Elspeth, make them counter with Glenn. And now I can get in there with Adeline. This is a pretty aggressive attack, though. Our opponent is at 8. And it looks like our opponent will eat the Porcelain Legionnaire. Maybe I should have held that Porcelain Legionnaire back. And then chumps the Adeline with Glenn. Glenn did her job, though. So opponent still takes 2. And then plays a Primeval Titan. Alright. 6/6 Trampler is pretty tough to get through. Yeah, we could have played that last turn a lot differently. We could have just held Elspeth. We could have not attacked with our Porcelain Legionnaire. We had a lot of different options. Another Mountain, which means Treasure Cruise, still a dead card. Mana Tithe, effectively a dead card. And we're just going to have to pass back. We have no attacks through this. Expressive Iteration from the opponents. Pretty good card selection in this. Ooh, so they exiled Jace. That means Jace is going to come down. Yep. And looks like they'll bounce the Adeline back to our hand. And then get in there with the Prime Time. Pretty good. Post combat, the opponent plays Chalice on 1. And then passes. Okay. We draw an Adonto Vanguard. So we can play Adeline again here. And attack Jace with the human tokens, and this will make a 3rd human token. We'll also get the Vanguard down, no reason to hold it. Now, if someone can help me here, I don't know how to tell MTGO that I want the human token that's entering the battlefield to be attacking Jace, the Mind Sculptor. In theory, I should be able to choose whether or not to attack the opponent or the Planeswalker, and I just don't have that choice. I just don't know how to fix that better or control that. So Jace is going to survive. If someone knows, let me know in the comments. We will ping our opponent for 1, however, but Jace still being on the battlefield is a problem because our opponent can't really attack right now. Their life total is pretty low. All right, so they downtick Jace again to bounce our Vanguard. And then play as Zealous Conscripts. I love Zealous Conscripts as a great card, but that'll do it because they'll just take our Adeline and swing in for lethal. So we will undo our sideboard edits from game 2 and take all the blue out and go back to just our Boros deck here for game 3, which we will be on the play. On the play, this is a keepable hand. No Lotus, which would be nice, but a 2-drop and 2 3-drops and all of our mana colors. We will use this Vista and Flooded Strand first because I really don't want to draw any more lands, so we'll filter what we can. Opponent leads out on island into top, and we'll go get a mountain. Porcelain Legionnaire was a nice draw because it's an aggressively statted creature that we can get on the battlefield this turn. Again, we will fetch just to thin our deck a little bit, get our plateau, and get the Legionnaire on the battlefield. Second island from the opponent and pass, so representing Counterspell. So we'll get in with the Legionnaire, and with opponent representing Counterspell, we can just pass back because we can flash this Cathar Commando in on their turn. All right, now that they're paying a mana to spin top, I'm gonna flash this Cathar Commando in now, as if they had Counterspell, they could no longer cast it. All right, Mountain comes down. And looks like they just pass again. I don't really want to get my Lelia countered, but it is the best play. So we can at least play around days. And if this gets countered, it gets countered. Alright, Mana Drain. It's about the worst counter you can see. Maybe we should have went with the Vanguard instead. Because the haste on Lelia could make a difference here. We'll get in for attacks though, and opponent's taking 6 still. So big turn here for the opponent. They have effectively 6, potentially 7 mana. Alright, they cast Is It Signet, which not that great on this board state, into Thirst for Discovery. So they're digging big. They have to respect the Mana Tithe when we're holding up a white mana like this. That's the power of the Tithe once your opponent knows you have it. And if that's all they do with their mana drain turn, I'm happy with this. Alright, ooh, and we get Goldspan Dragon off the top. Yeah, we've only seen the 1 counterspell from them, so let's just slam this dragon. This will let us get in there for 10, and we'll be able to play the Vanguard post-combat as well. Opponent spins in response, looking for that counter spell. Opponent's really in the tank on this one. All right, Dragon resolves. Yeah, and that'll do it. The opponent concedes the match. All right, match 1 down. All right, here we are. Match 2, we are on the play, and this hand looks like a keep to me. The Mana Vault just makes everything come together. Plus, we have the Flooded Strand to go fetch out our red-white dual land. So, and we'll just lead out on Plains, Mana Vault, and I'm not opposed to a turn 2 Palace Jailer. Now, our opponent is on green here. It looks like they did not play a Mana Dork, just another Plains for our draw. Yeah, I'm just going to turn to Palace Jailer here, as this is at least going to draw us probably 2 cards, if not more. Looks a bit awkward. Maybe people would have waited for the Sun Titan, but I have nothing in the graveyard for Sun Titan to get, so Sun Titan's really not that valuable of a play right now. Our opponent puts a second forest into Devoted Druid. Drawing an Oust was actually quite nice. All right, drawing a Black Lotus was even nicer, as now we have a target for our Sun Titan, and this is the combo I was talking about. Sun Titan, Black Lotus, love the combo, love to see it. So we can just Sun Titan back into Black Lotus, and if you think I'm greedy, I'm just gonna sack Black Lotus here for Oust and just eat the 2 mana loss there, because this will put the Devoted Druid back in our opponent's deck. 2 from the top. We're limiting them on mana. Just lots of goodness going on here. We're going to draw another card here off the Monarch. Prismatic Vista, fine. We'll be able to get the Elspeth down next turn. The Black Lotus is going to come back again next turn as soon as we attack with the Sun Titan. And if you're the opponent here, it's like, what do you do to get her out of this? Sun Titan is just so much value with Black Lotus. So they play Verdant Catacombs, fetch out another forest, get a Courser Crewfix down. We will not untap our Mana Vault. We draw an Usher of the Fallen for turn, which is fine. Now, I'm going to get Elspeth down here now, fetching out our mountain, as we can give one of our creatures, +3/+3 and flying, and just really get this game over with. Yeah, okay. So that'll do it for game 1. That was awesome and amazing. I hope you stuck around through match 1, because that game 1 here in match 2 was a lot of fun. All right, no changes in sideboarding. Here we are, game 2 in match 2. This is also a keep. We have Porcelain Legionnaire, Cathar, and Oust. Great early plays. Opponent leads out on Forest Ignoble Hierarch. I'm kind of tempted to just oust this Ignoble Hierarch turn 1. This may or may not be right. It may be more right to oust whatever they put into play. Okay, Raphellos, yeah. Would have been much better to oust the Raphellos, as we do not have an answer to the Raphellos. So our opponent potentially on 6 mana next turn. They lead on the Verdant Catacomb, fetching out... Are they just using Yeah, it looks like they're just using Verdant to thin their deck. They just fetch out another forest. 6 mana available for the opponent. Into Pelucranos with a mana floating. Okay, and then into Ignoble Hierarch again. All right, Pelucranos, kind of an issue when you got a 1 toughness creature. And our only play right now is to just flash in Cathar Commando. Okay, they play the Soul Ring. Yeah, so if they Monstrous Pelucranos with the Exalted trigger, they'll be able to get in here for a decent amount of damage. Now it's our opponent's turn to have a great game. They go Questing Beast, and yeah, I've seen enough here. We're going to lose that game. We probably got a little aggressive on the oust. Let's just get to a game 3. All right, again, no changes from the sideboard. Game 3, we are on the play. Mana Vault in the opening hand. Prismatic Vista, love to see it. So in theory, we can get down a turn 2 Elspeth. And that should be pretty good, as that'll just generate a lot of value this game. Opponent does get the Ignoble Hierarch down. Ooh, there's a Lodestone Golem. So we're kind of presented with a choice here. We can get Lodestone Golem down, or we can get Elspeth down. I'm actually just going to get the Lodestone Golem here, and this lets us double spell this turn by keeping Oust up, and I can put our opponent's Ignoble Hierarch back into their library. Because now with our Lodestone down... Oh, wait. No! Punt! Mark the punt. We misordered our spells. That may come back to bite us. Yeah, now they get a Wall of Roots down. Oh, I should have played the Oust before the Lodestone Golem. I got excited. Yeah, punt counter up to 1. Now we're kind of, paying our own tax here on the Lodestone Golems. No bueno. We will get in here for 5. Lodestone Golem is an aggressively statted creature. Hoping they block with the Wall of Roots. They're not going to. Post-combat here, we're going to cast the Oust. I'm not going to fetch off the Prismatic Vista. I want to draw a 4th land so we can get Adeline down on curve. So we'll just put the Wall of Roots back in their deck. Really hoping for a mana off the top of our library. Opponent does not play a land. They just play a noble hierarch, but there's some double exalted triggers. So that's fine. Here's 2 damage coming in. All right, land off the top, please. Yes, there it is. So this is going to allow us to get our Adeline down. We will fetch out a mountain. One of these days we'll be able to cast this gold span. So Adeline will come down. We'll get in there. This will make a human token attacking, and we'll pass it back to the opponent. Another land off the top for us means we can get the Elspeth down, and that would probably be game. All right, opponent's not playing any lands, but they're playing all the mana dorks. I'm going to kind of just guarantee the win here, I think. I want to untap this Mana Vault. Okay, well, there's the Urza Saga. You know, paying Mana Vault tax, sometimes you got to do it. Maybe that wasn't right, but now with our attacks, our Adeline's a 4/4, so I don't even have to give them flying. And we're definitely going to get Elspeth down next turn. Our opponent's down to 2 life. You know, that Lodestone Golem taxing the opponent and coming in, even with the punt of misordering the oust. It's been a lot for our opponent to deal with here. Oh, okay, natural order. Natural order is definitely a solution. They could natural order into something scary like, I don't know, they need a lot of bodies. Oh, yeah, Hornet Queen. Oh, yeah. Untapping that Mana Vault's going to cost us a little bit here because we definitely missed out on some damage. And now there's 5 blockers with Death's Touch, and they all have flying. So this Elspeth is not gonna do it. We need to get through 4 insect tokens and a Hornet Queen. So maybe we can go wider. I'm not sure. So our opponent doesn't know right now that we can give our guys flying. They don't know we have the Elspeth in hand. They also don't know about the Goldspan Dragon, but I can't cast the Goldspan Dragon yet. So I'm thinking I just want to bide my time right now. I mean, if they let guys into Craterhoof or something, we're just going to lose. So other than biding our time, the other option we have here is to get really aggressive. Our opponent is at 2. What we really need to do is get some of these blockers off the battlefield, specifically the flying blockers. If we can get our opponent down to like a single flying blocker between the Elspeth and the Goldspan Dragon, we can get in there because the Goldspan Dragon's got haste, so we can kind of surprise them. So I'm actually going to Alpha Strike here. I know we're going to lose our good creatures here. We're just going to lose them. But we're also taking 2 insect tokens off the battlefield. Was this a good trade? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. We also get in there for a damage, right? So, I mean, they're down to 1. And so we have our opponent down to 1. And really the only blockers that matter are the Hornet Queen and their 2 insect tokens. If they get aggressive and attack with these things, they're going to lose. So our opponent plays Soul Ring, Acidic Slime. Okay, blow up the Urza Saga. So that means no Black Lotus for us off the Urza Saga. We will make a construct token in response. Do they attack with their flyers? There's no way they can. Okay, they play a Sylvan Library, which is not that great when you're down at 1 life. It will give them some card filtering, however. Palace Jailer. All right, well, Palace Jailer was a nice draw. Palace Jailer can take care of one of these insect tokens. So we can play Palace Jailer here and just take one of those flying Death Touch tokens off the battlefield. We're going to lose the Monarch as soon as our opponent's next turn, but this may incentivize them to attack with a flyer. Again, we just need to get by 1 flyer. The flyers are the only blockers that matter. Because if we draw red mana, we could play both Elspeth and Goldspan Dragon in the same turn. I am not going to attack. We're just going to hold back here. There's a plateau. All right, there's the red mana we needed. Do they attack with either of their flyers? If they do, it's just going to open the door for us to win this game. That natural order in the Hornet Queen was great. It was the perfect play. All right, they Pest Infestation, blowing up our construct token and our Mana Vault. All right. Now we can't play both Elspeth and Goldspan. They're going to get in there with the Exalted Insect token, but they still have a 2/2 flying Death Touch to block with. And now I do not want to attack on the ground because those Pest tokens, when they die, give the opponent life. So now we're going to have to take this a little slower. I think I'm going to play Elspeth now, plus on the Elspeth to give something flying. This is going to force them to block with the Hornet Queen. And then if they attack again with the insect, we can get in there with the Goldspan. We'll just play a Danto post second main phase here. Doesn't matter. This card is irrelevant right now. Those Pest tokens mean anything on the ground is not going to get through. I mean, our opponent's got to be worried about like burn, right? Just Lightning Bolt, Incinerate, something. If we draw Lightning Helix, that'll win the game on the spot. Opponent again with the big plays with the Karn Liberated. Exiling the Elspeth. Do they get in with the insect token? If they're smart, the answer is no. They are smart. Yes, they sit back. Okay. Well, there's Fury. What we can do here with Fury is we can kill the insect token and we can kill Karn. Fury is kind of a messed up magic card. Now we can't evoke it because I can't ditch this gold span. We need this gold span to win. But it's going to deal with our 2 remaining problems, the most of which is the insect token. Karn is just kind of bonus. Get out of here. Pew pew. All right. Doors are down from our opponent. If they don't do anything to throw up a blocker in the air, we can win next turn with the Goldspan Dragon. Can they find it with this Sylvan Library? They're looking 3 cards deep now. They get a Pelucranos in. Pelucranos can monstrous at any time. How much mana do they have available? They got 2 untapped forests, and then they got 3 between their mana dorks. So they can monstrous for 2. They cannot deal enough damage to the Goldspan Dragon. Next turn they would with Raphaelos on the battlefield. So they can monstrous for 2. Really, I'm reading the monstrosity, and so it does not fight. It does do damage equal to its monstrosity cost. So luckily they cannot kill the Goldspan when we play it here. Goldspan hitting the board. We got through the Hornet Queen's defenses. Get in there for their little dragon buddy. This will also give us the Monarch back, coincidentally enough, but that's good enough to win the match. Great match. Let's head to round 3. Here we go. Match 3 on the play. I'm going to slam keep this again. No fast mana, but we don't need it because we have great 1-2 drop and then into 3 drop if we need to. We'll just get the Usher on the battlefield, pass the turn, see what we're up against here. Looks like another green opponent into Elvish Reclaimer. You know what's faster than some white red aggro? Lands. Urza Saga was an interesting draw. Let's attack with the Usher, offer the trade here. I want to get that Elvish Reclaimer off the battlefield. Do not expect our opponent to block. If they do, that's great for us because we will definitely lose to a Merilage. Nothing we can do about it now. Our opponent will be able to activate the Elvish Reclaimer next turn as long as they have a land drop. So we will get the Urza Saga down. This will start the triggers counting down, and then we will not make a 1-1. We will play the Adanto Vanguard. Let's just get as much pressure on the opponent as we can. Okay, Sylvan Library. All right, well, I am just happy there that the opponent did not activate Elvish Reclaimer. We draw Mana Tithe, pretty good. Now we have the option of either activating Saga or playing a creature. But since we have Cathar Commando, we can flash that in. So we'll just attack here. Oh, they're going to trade? Oh, this is best case scenario. All right, I was worried about Merilage. If they're going to trade, I mean, that means we're not losing Merilage. We will let them get some more value off of the Sylvan Library. What we can do now is we can either flash in Cathar Commando or just make a construct token. Unfortunately, we can't hold up Commando and Mana Tithe. So it may have been right there to maybe put the Porcelain Legionnaire into play previous turn and hold up Mana Tithe. Not sure. We'll see how this game turns out, I guess. When you're playing a Sylvan Library in your deck, you do not want to see your opponent on an aggressive game plan, like white or red, or white-red in our case, because they just took 4 damage off their Sylvan Library, and that's just helping us get to our goal. So they play a second island, they play a Narset. All right, let it resolve, let them down tick. Yeah, they're going to get a card off the Narset. We will see what it is. It's a Divining Top. That's going to be irrelevant this game. I will just get the construct in. We'll get some construct value on as our Adanto Vanguard can attack in for 3 against the Narset. Drawing Alston Mana Tithe was pretty nice there. So we'll make a second construct and we'll go fetch out our Black Lotus. This is going to allow us to do kind of all the things we want to do and just really develop our game plan. Black Lotus, if you didn't know, it's a good card. Get our Flooded Strand down. Let's attack the Narset here, get 1 at the opponent, 1 at the Narset. Now that we have this board and we have our opponent dead next turn, I actually don't want to put any more of our creatures on the battlefield in case there's some sort of weird board wipe that I'm not tracking. This allows us to hold up Mana Tithe and Cathar Commando here using the Black Lotus. Opponent filters through some more cards here with Sylvan Library. Do they find an answer? They play a Forest. And they get down Courser. All right, well, that gets through Mana Tithe. And the 4 toughness is actually relevant here. And they have a second spell, it looks like. So they got an Uro on top of their library, and they play that Sensei's Divining Top. Do we Mana Tithe this? I think we do. Just take options out of their hand. And I think we actually also flash in the Cathar Commando here. The thing is, when we sacrifice this Black Lotus, our constructs become 2/2s. But we can get this Cathar Commando in. This represents 3 more damage. Mana Vault was a great draw. Okay, and they just quit. A little early concede there by the opponent, but we'll take it. All right, here we are on the draw. This hand is a little slow, so I'm going to put it back. Looking for some more of our fast mana. This hand's not that much better, but it does have a few more options with Lightning Helix and potentially Adelon. So I think we'll keep this one. We'll put the Lodestone Golem back, as I don't want to tax ourselves. Lodestone Golem's really good on the play, not quite as good on the draw. In sideboard, we took out Mana Tithe, and we brought in Land Tax, because Mana Tithe's not as good on the draw either. Our opponent opens up turn 1 Ancestral Recall, but they mulliganed aggressively because they still only have 7 cards in hand. So we'll just play a Plains and pass. Then they get down a Forest Birds of Paradise. Pretty good ramp here from our opponent. We will, quote-unquote, bolt the bird. Pew! With a Lightning Helix. Do not want our opponent ramping into something, and then next turn we'll just plan to get the Adelon down. They do play an island into Uro, so they are ramping pretty good, gaining some life here. I do think Uro is a little slow for the Vintage Cube, but it's working out right now for our opponent, and they get a 3rd island down. We will just slam Adelon here. Unfortunately, we cannot trigger Adelon here with an attack, so it's slow Adelon. Opponent brainstorms here, end of our turn. Put another card in the yard for Uro. Our opponent still does need a 2nd green source to escape Uro, which I'm sure they'll be able to find off of that brainstorm. And then they get Tamiyo Completed Sage down, paying her full mana cost. All right, Tamiyo taps Adelon, which is really good. Lelia was an amazing draw, however. I am going to play a land before attacking with Lelia just to play around Daze. All right, Lelia resolves immediately, and we'll get in there and take 3 loyalty off of Tamiyo. Again, we trigger Adelon, but I do not know how to target the human token onto the Planeswalker that we're attacking. So the opponent takes 1, and Tamiyo loses 3 loyalty. Clearly, it was a great draw there. The haste off that creature was very, very valuable. All right, so Tamiyo upticks on our Lelia, which makes sense. Unfortunately, we got another haste creature. Unfortunately for our opponent, that is. We got another haste creature on our hand in the form of Goldspan Dragon. So our opponent really needs to develop their board this turn to stay in this game right now. All right, Garruk the Relentless is a play. Okay, they choose to make a wolf token. I thought they would have maybe fought the Lelia, but they want the 2/2 blocker. So unfortunately for our opponent, we have this Goldspan in hand. Goldspan's going to come down with haste, and we will be able to take out one of these Planeswalkers. I think I want them to take out Garruk, as I don't want Garruk to flip and then make 1/1 Death Touch wolf tokens. So we'll attack at both Planeswalkers here, and if the opponent would like to chump with their wolf token, that's fine. Opponent does chump the Adelon, so Garruk does stay alive a turn, but we got a lot of threats on this board for them to deal with, and unfortunately the opponent's not playing board wipe colors. Opponent again makes a 2/2 wolf token off of Garruk. Alright, Jite off the top probably seals the deal. So I will play Jite here. Remember, this treasure token sacrifices for 2. And Jite on the stack takes it down. The number of games I've played where someone casts Jite and the opponent just concedes, definitely greater than 0. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for chilling with me here. Don't touch that dial, and let's keep cubing.